Now that is a perfect crumb. The crumb is the holes on the inside of the bread. Perfect crumb. Hi everyone, Sherry here. I'm going to show you how I make my sourdough artisan bread and talk a little bit about my starter. I just got off the treadmill. I walked 25 minutes, so I am trying to get a little healthy, and this is part of the healthiness, I would think, for the bread. So this is how I keep it in the refrigerator. And I use a big jar just so it's easy to dip. I like to be able to put my fork in there or my cup in there and just grab. Now, if you look at my starter, let me get close. It has some water on it. I don't know if you can see it. But there's a layer of water on it. That's called hooch, and that means my starter's hungry. But I need bread, so I'm going to try to take you with each step in making the bread. So I took this out of the refrigerator, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get me a clean mason jar. I'm going to stir this up first. Now, if you don't want your starter real sour, you can remove that hooch, but my starter isn't real sour. If you use rye or wheat, that really makes it have a stronger taste, and I've tried that. I don't like it. So I'm going to stir this up real good to get that hooch mixed back in there. I like my starter a little thicker than watery. So to get my bread started, which I will make tomorrow, but I'm going to leave it rise all night long. I'm going to take a half a cup out and put that in this jar. And then I'm going to get my flour, set that aside. Oh, let me show you the flour containers I got off of Temu. So that holds just my flour for my breads. That's bread flour and that's all-purpose flour. Both are unbleached and organic. So I'm trying to be a little healthier here. So let me move you back and show you what I'm going to do. Excuse me. First of all, I need to get another half a cup out. Let's see, here's a half a cup. And I'm going to put a half a cup of all-purpose unbleached flour in each of my, I'm going to refeed this starter. Put a half a cup back in. And I'm going to put a half a cup of this. And set that to a side. I just love these. They come off of Temu, and they're really nice. They hold 10, 15 pounds of, I bet 20 pounds of flour. This is really nice. Okay, back to this. I get off track. So each of these I'll put about a half a cup of water in them. Maybe a little less. Like I say, I like my sourdough just a little bit thicker. But you want to get that water and that flour incorporated in there and all mixed together. Add a little more water. And as much air as you can get in there, mix it together. Get that bubbly kind of. And then I'm going to set this one to a side with a lid on loosely. And then I'm going to mix this up. And get this all incorporated and mixed up. And by tonight, I will be able to make my bread. Not bake it, just make it. It will do the first bulk fermentation. Boy, there's just some words I can't say. Anyway, maybe I say them, it just don't sound right to me when I say them. Okay, that's mixed up pretty good the way I like it. I like mine thick. So just mix it up. If you need to add a little more water, you see flour in there, just add a little more water and mix it up. I try to get it down off the sides, because my next step is to put a rubber band. Try to get it off the sides as much as possible. There you go. So now you can see how much I have in here. And in order for me, I don't use this one anymore, so let me take it off here. So I use this rubber band to guide or mark where my sourdough is. And when this has doubled in size, then you can start making your bread. I just put a little cap on it. I have one smaller. Let's find it. There it is. And I leave it on the counter. Now, if you want it to rise faster, you find a warm location. You can use a heating pad to sit it on, wrap it up in a towel and get it warm. But I'm just going to leave this over here because I don't want to use it until tonight. So that's good to go. Now I can either put this right back in the refrigerator, which I'm going to do. Some people leave it out to let it rise, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it right back in my refrigerator because I don't want it to rise that fast. I'm not going to use it for another a week probably. That's when I'm going to come back, take some out, do what I'm doing, feed this, and put it back in the refrigerator. And you do not have to use a big jar like this. Like I say, I just like to dig in there and grab my starter out with a cup, and it makes life easier. So I'm just going to scrape this down, and if the jar gets real icky, I just change it out. So that's how I do my first part of making my sourdough bread, artisan bread. And I'll be back when I start mixing up the ingredients and showing you, sorry, my head's cut off, and showing you what I'm doing then. So, you know, if you want to make your own sourdough starter, let me tell you how I did mine. And you can Google it. There's so many places on YouTube that'll show you. But be careful, because some of these people really make it difficult. And they almost make you scared to try it. But it's not that hard, and it's delicious bread. But what I do, for the first 7 days, the first 3 days I take and I add a 1/3 cup of all-purpose unbleached flour, a 1/3 cup of water. I mix that really good, and I put a little cover over it. I think I used a coffee filter, put a rubber band. But you want to put a rubber band around it so you can know if it's rising. But it's not going to rise for a good 7 days or longer. Then the next day, after 24 hours, I come in, I grab this, and I put another 1/3 cup of flour in water. And you do need filtered water. You can't use tap water because the chlorine will kill your starter. This is a wild active yeast we're making. So after you do the next day, the 1/3 cup of water, 1/3 cup of flour, mix it real good, cover it up, leave it for 24 hours. The 3rd day, I add a 1/3 cup of flour, 1/3 cup of water, mix it all up, cover it up, put it away. The warmer you can keep it, the better it is. It gets moving much faster. I kept mine wrapped up in a basket on top of a heating pad to keep it warm. Then I remembered my dehydrator. I have it in my pantry. I just turned that on and left this on the shelf in there, and it was just awesome. Just enough heat. I think I had it on the setting to make yogurt, but I didn't put it inside. I just set it on the shelf in there, and it just keeps my pantry warm. Now the 4th day, I took out a 1/3 cup of starter. I threw it away. I added a 1/3 cup of new flour and water, stirred it up, and put it away for the 24 hours. The 5th day, I took out a third cup. And you could probably take out a half cup if you want, but I took out a third cup, added a third cup of fresh flour and water, stirred it up, and put it away. About the 5th, 6th day, you're going to keep doing that process. Take out a third, add a third. Take out a third, add a third. I threw mine away that first week. There's a lot of recipes for discarded flour or starter, but I think you really need to wait until it gets active before you can use it. But on the 6th day, I took out a third cup, I added a third cup, and then I started adding just a little less water to make it more thick. And that, when I opened this up on the 6th and 7th day, I started seeing some bubbles. I started seeing some rising going on. But once you see your starter has doubled in size when it rises, because you keep doing that, take out a third, add a third. And you keep doing that until your starter is active. And once it's rose double in size, you can make your first loaf of bread. The first loaf might not be the greatest loaf because it's still not real active. My starter now is, I borned it January 16th is when I started my starter. And it's done great by me. It has done great. Let me show you some of the bubbles that's already starting to peak. See them bubbles down there? But this is alive. You can literally see a bubble. But you do that for a good 7 to 14 days and your starter should be active. The first 3 days, just add flour and water so you can get an amount in here. And you can either use this one to get started or use the bigger one back there. But on the 4th day, you take out a third cup, throw it away, and add a third cup of fresh unbleached flour and a third cup of unfiltered water. Stir it up, put it away to sleep for 24 hours, and do that for a good 7 to 14 days until you start seeing your sourdough rise. Once you see that, you can make your first loaf. You feed it, let it rise, put it in the refrigerator. And or you don't have to do that for 14 days. You can leave it out if you're gonna. The first month, 2 months, mine was left out because I was cooking so much bread, and now I can't eat it. My husband don't eat it. My husband don't eat anything I make, but I eat it so much, and I had to start giving it away to people making bread to give away so I could keep making it because it is very addictive. I just took a loaf out of the freezer. Let me show you the loaf I just took out of the freezer. It's not as pretty. Nope, I'm going to wait until you see me make it. Then you're going to see a fresh, pretty loaf come out of the oven. So, okay, that's how you make starter. That's the process of getting it started so you can start seeing it bubble. And I will turn the camera on and off so you can see it rising. So, I will see you in a few hours. Bye. All right, here's how it's looking so far. It needs to double in size. So I got a little ways to go. Okay, my sourdough isn't quite ready. It didn't double, but I'm still going to get ready and get my bread done because it is 7 o'clock and I have 4 stretches to do. So I'm going to go ahead and make it and not wait any longer. My recipe calls to use a scale, so I'm using a scale. Pair it out. Okay, and it calls for 640 grams of water. Let's see if I have enough. Just a little more. Then it calls for 150 grams of starter. Clear it out. And if your starter floats, they say it's really good. And this is floating. Alright. And I'm going to put the rest of this in with my starter I have in the refrigerator. Now this recipe doesn't call for olive oil or honey, but I like that in my bread. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of I use avocado oil, and 2 tablespoons of honey. It's a little more than I want. That's fine. Stir that up. Back on. Tear it out. I'm using bread flour, and it calls for 1,025 grams of flour. So I'm just going to keep adding to it. This will make 2 loaves. Alright. And now we need some salt. Three and a half teaspoons of salt. And I'm going to put it over here on my mixer. And I'm going to let it do its thing. So I'll come back and show you when it's all mixed up. Okay, I'm going to put it in a bowl and let it rest for 30 minutes and do a stretch and pull. So let's get it in the bowl. I already greased my bowl up because I don't want it sticking. This is a wet dough. So let's get it out of the mixer. I'm going to put it in from here into there. Okay, it looks kind of shaggy, but I'll be back in 30 minutes to do a stretch and pull and let you see what it looks like. Now I'm going to just cover the bowl up and put it in my pantry where it's a little warmer. And I'll be back in 30 minutes. Okay, this is our first stretch and pull. Here's what it looks like, shaggy looking. It's a wet dough. So you just get in there and give it a nice stretch. You can put your hands in water so it doesn't stick to you as much. Do it 4 times. Cover it back up. Set your timer for 30 minutes and come back and do the same thing. You want to do it 4 times. So, see you in 30 minutes. Time for the second pull. Be back in 30 minutes. All right, I'm on my 3rd pull. See, it's already got a bubble going here. Active. So just lift it up and stretch it. Pull it. There we go. One more pull and I put her up for the night and shape her in the morning. So I'll be back in 30 minutes. All right, this is the final stretch and pull for the bread. It's starting to stiffen up. Now I cover her up. It's 9 o'clock at night, and about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll be back to divide it and show you what it looks like and shape it. So see you in the morning. Good morning, it's time to shape my bread, and this is what it looks like after letting it rest all night. So I'll put the camera down here and let you see me shaping the bread. This is going to make 2 large loaves, but I'm going to split it into 1 large loaf and 2 small loaves. So I'll let you watch me do it. Isn't that pretty? Look at all the air. Now this is rice flour, and that's what I put into my banning baskets so it doesn't stick. So I give them a little spray And you want to put this around it real generously so it doesn't stick and ruin your bread. And I'll have to just use a plain bowl, and I'll just grease this and add some rice flour to it. So let's divide this up into what I want to make. Alright, first I divide it, try to get it divided evenly. This is a sticky dough, but it makes great bread. And I think I'm going to give this just a little more because I'm making 2 out of this one. Alright, let's get you in here so you can see what I'm doing. I just try to stretch it in a nice little rectangle. Then I take and fold the sides in on themselves. You do not want to disturb too much of that air in there. And then you just start folding it. I bring the sides in as I fold. Then you drag it on the counter and create a ball. I'm dragging it to try to get it tucked in and make a nice tight ball. Then I'm going to pick it up and put it in here. And then if it starts falling apart like that, I try to tighten that dough back up. I want that tension as much as I can in there. Now this is going to go in my refrigerator, or you can leave it out on the counter, but at least the last couple hours you want this refrigerated so you can score it. Alright, there's one. I'll set that aside. Then I'm going to, oop, I don't need that on my teapot. I'm going to divide this into 2 because I'm going to make 2 smaller loaves. This is a real small one. Way. I need a little more rice down. I make my own rice flour. I'm trying to get this into a rectangle. My word, I'm not doing real good. And I'm just going to fold it in on itself. See if I can get 2 little loaves out of this. I'm going to put this one in here and oil it. I don't need no flour on that. And then try to tighten it up. I'm going to see if I have any cheese. No, I don't. I have blueberries. So I might, let's see. Be right back. I'm going to get some sugar and some cinnamon. And some brown sugar I have right here. See if I can make this kind of a cinnamon roll one. Usually my sugar comes all out of it. We'll see how it turns out anyway. Do I need any more? Nah, we'll let it go this way. All right, put it that way. Bring it this way. Try to roll it. Get some tension on it and drag it towards you. I should have probably put this one in the bowl. You know what? I think I'm going to, so in case that sugar moistens up, too late. See how this opened up some? And I don't want that to do that in my basket. But this is already pretty greasy. So, I just don't want to ruin my basket. So let's just pray the cinnamon doesn't leak out. Now these are going to go for their second rise. And it takes about 2 hours for the next rise. And if you put them in the refrigerator, then you can score them so much easier, but I'll take you on to that next step. And let me show you what I cook mine in. Bring you back up. So my big loaf pan, I use this Dutch oven. You do not have to use this, but since I like making bread, I use it. For the little ones, I will use my little cast iron. But if you have a pan that can go into your stove and it can handle 500 to 450 degrees, you can use that as long as it has a lid so it can burst open. Because I didn't have those pans at first, and I just used one of my stainless steel with a glass lid pan, and it did beautifully. You will want to do a sling, and let me show you what a sling is. Be right back. It's a silicone sling, and you really would need one of these so you can pick it up when it's in your pan or your Dutch oven to sit it out and let it cool. This gets extremely hot, but makes it a lot easier carrying your bread with this. So for the little ones, I don't have a sling. I just make one out of parchment paper. So I'll let these get to rising, and I'll come back when it's ready to put in the oven. Bye, see you later. All right, I'm going to bake one of my first loaves of bread. And you got to put your Dutch oven in your oven as you're heating it up because it needs to be hot. So let me pull you over here and show you what I'm going to be doing. I make my sling out of parchment paper for the small Dutch oven. Then you have to score it. So I'm just going to, I don't think I'm going to use that one. I'm going to just use a blade. My oven is ready. And this is extremely hot. One thing I like to do is spray it with a little water to help create some steam. $450 for 20 minutes. Then I turn it down to 400 and cook it until it's about 200 degrees inside. I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, I turn the temperature down now to 400. And I go in and take the lid off. Ooh, the cinnamon's all seeped out. And I let it finish cooking at 400. And I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And I'll do some turning it around. Let's see what the temperature is inside. Not done. It's got to be 200. 5 more minutes. All right, my pan's in the oven, heating up, and I am going to score this, get it ready for my pan. And let's see how I want to score it. I'm going to try to do it in a circle. All right. Let me get my pan out of the oven. And get her going for 25 minutes at 450. Well, there you have it, everyone. My artisan bread made from my sourdough starter that I made all by myself, and you can do it too. I hope this video encouraged you to give it a try. This bread is so delicious. You can make many things from this starter. You can make English muffins, bagels, cinnamon toast, raisin bread, anything you can think of with this wild yeast, you can make it. So I hope this video was helpful. So you guys go out and have a great day. Go do something creative, but whatever you do, do it in the name of the Lord, and your blessings will always come back to you. Has anyone told you you're special today? If not, let me be the first, because you are God's eyes. This is an insert. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please consider giving me that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching again. Bye, everyone.